This NBA playoff picks edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Best Ball Mania is live with $15 million in prizes. Sign up with SGPN to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Royal Retros. Royal Retros has jerseys, t-shirts, hats, jackets, and sweatshirts from all the old school teams that you love. Use promo code SGPN for 10% off your order. That's code SGPN at RoyalRetros.com.
Hey, this is Derek Stevens. I'm the owner of Circa Las Vegas. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, second the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog. Pacers were once a feared animal in the streets of New York, like a raccoon or a coyote. But nowadays, those types of vermin.
Varmin is not a thing.
You just exterminate them because they're soft. They're scavengers now. They're leeches off of society.
Yeah, congrats
Metaphorical
to your Knicks, Ryan. They already
series isn't
2-0. Series is over. Nothing to see here.
I will say the players for the Knicks will probably be a little. We don't often talk about this, but there is elevation in Colorado. Well, there's the effect of having to land in the flyover states.
Oh wow!
For people from the coast, yes. Oh my god! And so we'll see. Hopefully they don't get I don't know if you call it jet lag or just like Midwest lag.
What do you think the elevation of Indianapolis is, Ryan?
It's probably like 69.
Nope, 719 feet.
Really?
So the air gets a little thin up there in Indianapolis, Ryan. Look out.
Were they on a landfill?
Wow, the trash talk is
what do you mean?
Coming.
I like that. Was that a pun?
What?
I said landfill. You said trash talk.
Oh, yes. Stepped right into that.
Would have killed at the dinner table.
We got some great NBA action. We're going to be joined by some NBA experts, Ryan. Before we do that, of course, shout out to Game Time. Maybe you want to check out some NBA playoff games, NHL playoff games, MLB, maybe even a little tennis, whatever it is. Game Time has you covered. Great way to check out the games. Great last minute deals on Game Time. You got the flash deals, the zone deals. You got deals. That's all you need to know. And the greatest deal of all, use the promo code SGPN. Get you $20 off. Download the Game Time app or just go to gametime.co. Use the promo code SGPN. Get yourself $20 off your first purchase. Get the Game Time guarantee. Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference if you can find a better ticket better price for a similar ticket there. You can't do it. Don't even try. Just go to gametime.co. You can use the promo code SGPN. Joining us on the line from the NBA Gambling Podcast, Mr. Scott Reichel. What's happening, Scott?
Yeah, doing pretty well. How's it going with you guys?
Doing pretty good. Also, Tennis Gambling Podcast. I was just listening to Scott talk a little Rublev on the Tennis Gambling Podcast, Ryan, before we went live
name drop.
here.
I'm impressed.
Yes, I was checking in on the Tennis Gambling Podcast, and of course, you know him, you love him, the villain himself, Mr. Terrell Furman. What's happening, Terrell?
What's going on, fellas?
Now, of course, we brought Terrell on, Ryan, not only to get his takes, but also to yell at him for tricking us into believing the Cavs could cover against the Celtics.
He hates the Celtics.
I know.
Yeah.
And I also hate the Celtics. So when we got together, it's like, oh, he's right. Yeah. All right. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Jared Allen will probably play. It's just a rib bruise.
Bigger rivalry. Terrell versus the Celtics. Colby versus Dome football.
Oh, come on. That's
That's
tough.
close. That's pretty
Is that-
close. I'm
Is
not
that
gonna
like
lie. That's actually pretty
LeBron
close.
versus Jordan when LeBron was only in the league for like 10 years before he really earned it through attrition.
Yeah, I mean, Colby has the years of just angry old man built up.
Did Colby have? Colby's dad is still alive, so
Yeah.
no gambling incidents getting family members killed. That's always a positive.
Yes, always
Allegedly, sorry, allegedly.
always a plus. Terrell, let's start there. What happened to the Cavs in Game 1, and do they have any chance moving forward?
No.
And they couldn't score.
No.
I mean, that's just straight up. They couldn't score, and it looked bad. And we knew that there were going to be games like this series. Like, I'm not going out here and saying that it was going to be easy. There was going to be games like this. There was going to be games where they just don't show up. But I'm just letting you know, as many games as there are that they don't show up at all, there's going to be equal number of games that the Boston Celtics go out there and literally lay a goose egg. So we didn't get it the first time around. Stay the course. Stay the course, fellas. They have 2 games at home. They have 2 chances to screw this up. And I 100% believe that they would take that opportunity.
This is like Mel Gibson trying to rally the troops after they just got their asses beat. Like, all right, come on, guys.
Backs against the wall. Don't worry, Cavs. We got this. Scott, right now, Celtics laying 13.5 points tomorrow night, aka Thursday night. If you're listening here on a Thursday, what do we make of this Celtics Cavs game? What do you like in this matchup?
Well, I feel like it's the same story every time with the Celtics because on paper they should win every game by 20 points. The question is, are they going to potentially have a mental lapse for a couple minutes there and let the other team come back at the end? That's really what it all comes down to. So if you want to take the Cavs, look for a better line in play. That'd be my advice. I was on the Celtics in Game 1. Went off and I thought they'd kill that team, and they did. The question is for Game 2. The only time they lost in the playoffs so far is when Miami set a franchise record in threes. Boston's dominated every other game they've played, and I don't think Cleveland's that good. I know Mitchell had a great game in general based on points. Great first quarter, kind of cooled off there at the end. Garland's been all over the place. Mobley was a non-factor for 3 quarters, then he kind of cleaned up in garbage time. But they don't have really many reliable scoring options on this team besides Mitchell. That's all they have. And Tatum shot horribly from the floor, and yet they still dominated. Derek White's been great. Jaylen Brown's been great. Porzingis has been out, and I don't think anybody's really noticed because Horford's done a pretty good job defensively. Cornette also had some rebounds in there, but it just feels like Boston has too much depth for this team. And Cleveland really only has one reliable scoring option on the entire team. Now, if Jared Allen comes back, that might throw a wrinkle into some things because they might dominate the boards. They can dominate in second chance points, that area. They need Jared Allen. Just simply put, they're not good enough with this current roster. And I think I'm going to have to lean Boston. Would it shock me if Cleveland covered through the back door? No. But my argument for the Celtics in Game 1, if I'm picking a team to be up by 20 points at any given time, I'm going to pick you to cover. And I think at some point, Boston will be up 20. And that's kind of why I'm leaning to Boston. So I just think it's a mismatch. I think Cleveland's going to get swept. So
Cleveland,
we'll see what happens.
Maybe Cleveland gets one at home.
And I'll be honest, like, I don't think Cleveland played horrible in Game 1, which is kind of scary for Cleveland. Like, they only turned the ball over 5 times. They shot 40% from the field, and they lost by 25. Like, it wasn't even close.
And Boston, like Scott was saying, Boston didn't even give them their best stuff.
No, they took the foot off.
Tatum was terrible. Offensively, it didn't matter.
They took the foot off the gas, and the back door was not swinging open. I'm going to take Boston in the first half -8.5. I like Boston team total in the first half at 58.5. You might be able to get a 57.5. They covered the first half team total in Game 1 when they only had 19 points in the second quarter. They are, they were a bucket. I think they were the best team ATS in the first half during the regular season, and for the most part, it's been continuing in the playoffs as well. So I'm going to do trifecta here: Boston full game -13.5, Boston over team total 58.5, and Boston first half -8.5. Because if I have to watch them dominate these teams, I'm gonna at least make some money. They out rebounded them by 11, and I don't know what the counter is. Obviously, this rib injury with Jared Allen is serious enough that he's sitting out playoff games where they really need him.
It's only second round though. I mean, if this was maybe the conference finals,
I mean, you know, pull the Marilyn Manson, get that rib removed, Jared Allen.
Whoa.
That's a deep cut reference right there. That's
Whoa.
a deep cut
See,
reference.
It was
now
dark.
you don't see. That's good to hear, Ryan.
Good age reference.
Yeah, that's a
material
great
there.
age reference. Again,
Did Terrell also get it?
Terrell, you got the Marilyn Manson rib reference. This is like
Does Terrell
Yeah,
know
but I
who
didn't-
Marilyn Manson is? Let's start there.
Yeah,
Does he know who
So
that is?
one, I didn't know the reference because of what you think I know it from. I know it from Family Guy.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty solid. All right.
Wow, that's great. So that's
Shout out to Family Guy for teaching the youth of America.
Yeah, I mean, again, it is weird as men of our age, Ryan, where we all heard these same urban legends, but it was like pre-internet. I don't know how it worked. There just was like a network of kids telling each other these stories. There's a hot dog story of a girl that went to someone's high school that everyone had that same story.
It's weird how that worked.
Yeah, and somehow the Marilyn Manson, everyone heard that story.
Makes you wonder why we even needed the internet.
Yeah, we were doing fine without it. Terrell, make the case for the Cavs. I know you're going to the Cavs. How did the Cavs get a cover here? What's your best Cavs play for Game 2?
Jared Allen makes his return. They dominate the Warriors on the glass. They score on the inside. Donovan Mitchell has a great game. Darius Garland remembers how to play basketball like a human being. And the Boston Celtics somehow, some way, just let this team hang around. They probably should go up 20. They probably should close it out and make this easy and go on the road and be up 2-0. But they constantly do what they always do. It's that moment. It is that moment where the Celtics have everybody on their side. Everybody say they're a must bet. There is no way this bet can lose.
Well, yeah. How
And
could this
loses.
possibly lose?
It's about
Kramer?
3-point variance. I mean, that's how they're going to lose. They lose because they take so many 3-pointers that if they go cold or if Cleveland gets hot from 3, we know the NBA is kind of built that way now, where a lot of teams are overly reliant on 3-point shooting. So if Boston goes cold and, for example, Miami hits 20 plus 3-pointers, they're going to lose. But if you just base it on the overall talent disparity and assuming you don't get that insane outlier performance at the bottom where Boston bricks every shot, they really have the talent to beat this Cleveland team by 20 in basically every game they play. The question is, are they going to have that one game where either they take a lapse defensively and Cleveland gets a lot of wide open shots, or they brick a lot of jump shots? That's how Cleveland's going to cover and win. I just don't see that happening. I think if anything besides that script happens, Boston's winning by 15 plus. They're just better than this team in every area.
Kramer?
Yeah, that game
What
happens at home when the role players or something happens. They get hot. Maybe if they don't get swept, that's the story. So yeah, you have to lay the points. Now, would you get into the alt markets? That's the real question. That's what people really want to know.
Well, for me, the alt stuff is early. The first half team
Just
totals. That's the stuff I like. I mean, at some point, how high can you go with the alt for the Celtics that you find interesting? Ryan, you are the alt god. The alt god. What do you like alt for the Celtics?
Scott,
how high can you go?
Well, Scott was talking about it.
It's smoking my weed.
If you think they're going to be up by 20, so I mean, what if we? Let me get the slider seems broken right now. Let me just quick hit refresh. All right, alt spreads. Yeah, I mean, you could pretty casually get this thing out to 25 points, no problem. I don't know if it's worth it though. They really they jack up the juice around. When you're out past these crazy key numbers of 24.5. Yeah, I guess what I would say is if we just want to take them to win by 19.5, it's plus 185.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, just take their. We'll just lay the points. We'll save the alt line for the. I do have an alt line later.
Ooh,
in the show,
okay, all right. Maybe
not to tease it.
Maybe your Knicks.
I will add one more thing.
Oh,
sure.
No. Here comes the hater.
7 is the number.
7.
7 is the number. 7 is the number of series straight that the Boston Celtics have dropped one game at home. At least one game at home. So everything you're saying, they have it. And these are some pretty bad teams. You know, there's some good teams in there, but the Atlanta Hawks are in there as well. Gotten a win in Boston.
That's true.
With no DeJounte Murray.
With no DeJounte Murray. So I mean, I'm just saying they have those games. They do.
I think the point I'll make though is if you do want to take Cleveland, I would probably consider a same game parlay with somebody alt 3s. Yeah. If they're going to cover this line, Strus or Mitchell or maybe Garland, somebody's going to hit a bunch of 3-pointers. Like, I think that's the only way they cover this number. So maybe if you want to go for a same game parlay, I'm not picking Cleveland once again, but if you are, I think we'd agree somebody's going to get hot from 3. That's probably how they end up covering.
Yeah, Max Strus, you could do like
You should
all
listen
threes.
to what Scott's saying. I saw
I
you
think
hit
Okoro had a couple of threes randomly in game 1, and his price was massive. Like you can probably
yeah.
find a couple of long shot options.
I saw Scott hit a nice little same game, like multi-day same gamer with a hockey draw involved.
Oh, I didn't hit that. I cashed out.
Oh, you did?
I mean,
I did.
What was it?
You earned.
Walk us through your. I saw it, and it started with a draw in regulation between the Leafs and Bruins, and then give us the rest of it. I knew that was one leg. What happened, Scott?
All right, so I'm trying to remember the exact payout, but I think it was $30 to win 26 grand. I think.
Yeah.
It
Sounds
wasn't
right.
one. It wasn't draw, by the way. It was 1-1 draw at 17 to
Oh, wow.
1.
Hey,
exact
don't
score.
disrespect him like that again.
At the
Yeah,
exact score,
he
1-1.
called exact score draw. It wasn't no regular draw.
All
yeah,
right.
2-2 doesn't get me anything. 1-1 gets me paid. So I
Oh,
had
that's
that, and
so
then
awesome.
I parlayed that with Mitchell 40+ points and Magic money line as a reverse correlation option that I cashed in game 3. I had cashed in game 6. I mean, so I had that 3 pick for $30 to win about $26,000. And then I looked in the middle of the third quarter and saw Orlando blew an 18-point lead and they can't score. So I'm like, yeah, I think I'm good. And I just took my money and I ran. And then Orlando
Nice.
lost, and Mitchell only scored 39 points. So I cashed out at the right time. So I made $1,000.
What'd you end up getting cashed out for?
About $1,000, give or take.
Yeah,
I think
there
the
you
highest
go.
it got to was about 4.5K. But at that point, Orlando was still in the thick of it. I kind of told myself if Cleveland goes up by 8, then I'm cashing out because this game's over. They went up 8. It was $1,000. I took my money and ran. That's kind of how it went. But
Yes, sir.
It's important.
Well played, Scott.
It's important to have a floor. Yeah.
Normally the cash out is a negative EV, but Scott played it like a fiddle. That was well done, Scott.
it might have been negative EV, but it's better than negative $30. So I'll take it. I
No,
knew the
yeah,
parlay
I
was
mean-
dead, so I'm gonna give me something out of it.
No,
I mean, if
and
you hit
can-
a $30 parlay to win 1,000 on an NFL Sunday,
Yeah,
you're
that's pretty
juiced.
awesome.
That's
Yeah.
a nice hit.
and also too, like I swear to God, in NBA.
Also, you would have lost.
yeah,
so-
well, yeah.
So definitely a good win.
Definitely plus EV, considering 0 is way lower than 1,000. With NBA, like I swear, in the playoffs, especially like when these teams go on the runs, to Scott's point, like once they blew that 18-point lead, you knew there was no coming back for that Magic team. Like you could just see it in their eyes, team wise. And maybe the math doesn't reflect it because it would still be a close game. But I swear, with the NBA. Sometimes you can kind of see these things coming with the runs and why it's been so interesting. Again, going back to 3-point variance, when these teams are down 20, why it's fun to hop in live. Usually on the team down 20, with the exception of the Nuggets, who are just apparently a horrible team now. We'll get to that, or maybe the Timberwolves are the greatest team.
It
of
was
all time.
Derby weekend. Let's use some perspective. Joker was enjoying the ponies. I get it. I can relate to him here.
We'll get to Joker. Next up for Thursday night, we got the Mavs at the Thunder. Mavs catching 5 points in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City with the nice game 1 win, nice game 1 cover. I mean, they've won every game so far in the playoffs. I think they covered all of them except game 1. I don't think they covered there. And they've been looking pretty good. It was interesting. Like I liked a lot of what I saw out of the Mavs in game 1. And I thought they're like alive for this series. The thing that scares me is Luka has just been cold from the 3-point line. Like he has to figure out this 3-ball, and then he tweaked his ankle. He was already dealing with a knee thing, 1 for 8 from 3. I think the game before it was 1 for 9. Like he has just been cold from the 3. And he does those step back threes. He's got to start hitting those early. It seemed like he was good. And then I think the ankle tweak threw him off. We'll start with Terrell on this one. How say you Mavs Thunder? Cause I kind of want to take the Mavs in points, but the
Really?
Luka 3-ball and his ankle are kind of worrying me. And I thought the Mavs played pretty decent defense in that first series against the Clippers. And I think Kyrie still has like a pretty good game in him on the road here. How say you, Terrell?
Yeah, I think that ultimately what's wrong here is one, Luka's hurt. He's clearly
Yeah.
hurt, and I don't want any part of a compromised Luka now because we talked about it before. We talked about the Thunder game. The issue was it was just Luka and Kyrie. Nobody else was really stepping up hard enough for this team, and so now you have a compromised Luka, you have Kyrie, and then you're hoping that Daniel Gafford has another big game. You're hoping that PJ Washington steps up more. You're hoping that you're getting all this other help from your role players. And the thing of it is, I trust the Thunder's role players way more than I trust the Dallas Mavericks role players. I think that SGA is going to be the best player in this series with Luka compromised. I don't think they have an answer for him, and I think he let this foot off the gas because they were up so much, but it could have been a lot worse for Dallas, not for Dallas on the scoreboard with SGA attacking and going to the rim and being able to get to the foul line. So I don't think that they're going to stop him from getting the calls here in OKC. I think that he's going to continue to attack and be aggressive. And I think that the rest of the role players are going to continue to step up for OKC. And if OKC wins a rebound battle, you're probably going to lose the game. So they lost the rebound battle in the first game. I think they're going to lose it again. I'm on OKC to go ahead and get it done and take it 2-0 to Dallas.
I assume he got roasted on the post game show, but I mean, you saw him showing up looking like a fucking Oscar statue or a street performer or something.
Someone said,
"Hey man,
mustard.
Is that offensive, Terrell?"
He has an eccentric dress style. And you know what? It works for him because he continues to play on an MVP type level.
He looks like I mean
he looks like one of those,
like Neo from the Matrix. If the Matrix was fucking taking place in a mob house,
he looks like one of those guys on Fremont Street or Hollywood Boulevard that are frozen they're like a statue, and then you walk by and they come to life. Like it looks like he was almost doing that. Very interesting. I obviously I'm not that plugged into the drip.
I'm sorry. I'm not fashion. I've never even thought to get a handbag like that.
Scott, I assume you have a similar outfit there somewhere in your closet, right?
I don't. I thought he was cosplaying as that golden robot from Star Wars. I couldn't really tell. But
C3PO. I like Scott's such a sports guy. Doesn't even know C3PO. He's like, yeah, whatever that gold robot.
Yeah, that's that golden robot. The golden robot.
Let's make sure this gets clipped, Josh.
Scott has a similar. We have an unofficial dress code here at SGPN. It's just t-shirt and I'm guessing I don't know, jeans, sweatpants,
Polo
gym shorts
when needed.
Polo when needed.
Yep.
Keep it professional.
Suit jacket in the bag at all times.
Yeah, Kramer's really dialed in with the suit jacket t-shirt.
I have changed it. I'm starting to change a whole generation.
You really are inspiring. Fashion icon, Ryan. Scott, talk to us about Mavs at Thunder. I mean, I was trying to make kind of a case for the Mavs, but I think I just got to do what Terrell is doing as well here and take OKC laying the 5 here. How say you? Any takes here?
Yeah, so game 1 didn't exactly surprise me. I did think Dallas was going to win the series initially, but I did pick OKC in game 1. I just thought that in this environment, I thought they would have to come out and actually put together a great showing at home. They did. They're well rested. They came out. They buried this team. The issue that I have, in addition to Luka being injured, is the fact that Lou Dort is going to be guarding him, and Lou Dort is an insanely physical and solid defender. We saw him completely just take Brandon Ingram's soul in the first round. Dort's probably the last person you want to see guarding you if you're physically compromised, and I am wondering if Luka has an off game, is there any chance they really win? Because you need Kyrie to probably go for 35 at that point. You don't trust supporting cast. Tim Hardaway Jr. came back, and I'll tell you what, they look the same with him and without him. I'm not a Tim Hardaway Jr. guy. I thought he was pretty bad in game 1. I think I am going to go with OKC in this one. I thought it was going to be a competitive series in general, but it does feel like, especially with home court, the atmosphere has been great. If you even go back to the regular season, OKC's quietly won 10 straight, and like nobody's talking about it. They've won 10 straight games, but they're really good. Shea almost had a triple-double in that game. I do agree with Terrell. At even strength, I might take Luka over Shea, but with the current health, I would take Shea over Luka. I just think Shea's better than Luka right now with all the injuries that Luka's dealing with. Gafford was good. That's basically it. That's the only hope Dallas has, is to just dominate the glass and just try to get second chance points. I'll take OKC at home in this one. I thought Chet was fine. He could play better, and they still dominated that game. There are areas for OKC to improve in, and they still won that game by 20-plus points. I'm also not the biggest Jason Kidd guy, and I am a big Dagnall guy, so I do think OKC has the coaching advantage as well. But Dort guarding an injured Luka is seriously exactly what you want if you're back in the Thunder. It's the exact matchup you want, and as a result, I do think OKC wins this game. I think it'll be closer. I'm not saying they get run out of the building again, but give me OKC by 10, give or take.
Yeah, no, I mean, Ryan, this might be where you want.
Why do they not
City
get run out of the
line.
building? You see how electric that building is?
No, I mean, I think Oklahoma City is. You want to talk about best home court, and I'm sure, I'm sure Minnesota's going to show up for these games now that they got the Nuggets on the ropes here. But
what else are they going to do? Watch the Twins? They're going to be there.
Well, I mean, you want to talk about what else are you going to do? I mean, Oklahoma City. Shout out to Oklahoma. There is literally this is the main thing
watch
to
your
do.
tongue.
Right?
Did the Sooner spring game happen already? I lost track. That happened already.
Yeah. No, the spring game is over. Really, this is everything. I mean, they got everyone buying into the t-shirts, wearing the right t-shirts for the playoffs. I think they roll, and I like Scott's point. That was kind of something I had written down. Lou Dort on defense, he had a great game. I think
it's so funny what happens in LA when there's a t-shirt giveaway. No one wants the t-shirt.
Too cool for the t-shirts.
No one wants the t-shirt. It's like some mom taking home 5 shirts for their other kids. Like that's what happens. Not in OKC. Everyone gets a shirt.
And we were talking. Obviously, very very different home court environment, playing the Clippers in LA and then playing this Thunder team.
What are you trying to say? Ballmer's a big time fan. Big time fan.
They gotta lean into the Ballmer thing and get the Microsoft paperclip as their mascot. That would be a fun watch. I just think part of the like maybe counter of the Thunder is, oh hey, this team was too young. They're not going to be able to figure it out. But man, you really haven't seen that at all so far this playoffs. They seem very composed, especially how young this team is. And to Scott's point, like they could even get a better game out of Chet to even add to it. So I think you got to, as chalky as it sounds, I think you got to take Oklahoma City as well.
Yeah, it does seem like it's got a little of the same with Boston. They could have played better. Yeah, OKC -11 alt. Plus 220. They
feel like the Mighty Ducks. They feel like the Mighty Ducks. Just a group of guys that they hate each other at first, and then they like. If you look at them post game, they're all at the post game interview together. They're all hand over arms. You look at what they do on social.
They're all singing that phone commercial.
Yeah, this phone commercial, the slam cover, like they all do everything together, and it's like, yo, that is a mental part that I think people don't realize. Like, and they just continuously find ways to put it together. They're on a heck of a run. They're healthy, and I think it sounds like SGA versus Ant, and I could 100% go for that. Sign me up for a 7-game series of SGA versus Ant.
That's going to be an awesome Western Conference, and I like that a small market team like the Thunder rebuilt, mostly by the draft, and are playing really well.
And amazing trades.
Yeah, and their tank wasn't as like egregious in my mind as the Sixers. It's
they
like
didn't process.
No, like they use their picks well. They hit with Chet. Now, granted, Chet had to sit out a year, but like as it's homegrown talent. I mean, when Durant left the Thunder, they were going, hey, should the Thunder sell the team? They'll never be good again. Yeah. It's awesome to see that they're good.
You ever go think about that team and everyone like what could have been one of the greatest teams of all time? Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and all-time tag along loser Kevin Durant.
They really are.
Like, whoa, what a threesome that organization.
Don't forget Ibaka though. Don't forget Ibaka.
Yeah, Ibaka was on that team too. It was
the surge protector. Love that nickname.
Oh, strange because they all went their separate ways like very sharply. But yeah,
I do want to ask one question though. A 4-game 2. Since we talked about Luka being injured and that Dort's going to be guarding him. One quick question: how good of a stat line does Luka actually need for Dallas to win this game?
I mean, if Kyrie's going to give you 25 to 30, Luka has to be he has to be at 30. It has to be a 30.
Yeah, is he like
he has to dominate on the glass.
9? Like, is that where we're at?
I think it's like 32. Yeah, definitely. I'm not as much on the assists. I don't think he has to have a big assist game, but he probably will because Gafford, they're going to run that Gafford pick and roll down their throats. So I think it's a 30-point triple-double, but he really has to help on the glass. He and Gafford have to be strong on the glass and really stop a lot of those offensive rebounds. And he's got to be able to score. He's got to be able to score. He's got to be able to hit his step back threes. He's got to be able to get to his shot whenever he needs to.
That's it. The 3.
To me, it's he's going to get his points regardless because he's going to get their shot volume wise, but he has to be efficient with the shooting. Like he's got to hit. I think he's got to be like 4 for 8 from the 3-point line. If he does that, I think everything else kind of falls in place. The offense is spaced. He's getting the efficient shots. The points per possession is up. So I think it's less total points and more just about hitting those threes. And that's why I'm fading him, because with that ankle thing, I'm pretty concerned.
No thanks.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
No.
Hey, before we talk a little Friday action, of course, Underdog Fantasy. If you haven't signed up already, use that promo code SGPN. Get you that sweet deposit bonus. You get a first time deposit offer and up to $250 in bonus cash. Underdog Fantasy promo code SGPN. Let's talk it out here with Scott and Terrell from the NBA Gambling Podcast. What do we like for a 2-player fantasy pick'em over on Underdog? Maybe we just stick to the Thursday games, but Scott, I'll let you go first. What do you like for Thursday night, higher or lower in NBA Underdog Fantasy?
If you
So there's
steal
something that I
mine,
want
I'm
for
be
Shea.
pissed.
I have to figure out what I want for Shea, because he had 9 rebounds
Okay.
and
All
9
right.
assists. So I'm thinking if I want to go for rebounds, assists, or both. You know what? No, let's go with both. Give me Shea rebounds and assists. I'll take the higher on that.
Shea rebounds and assists. What do we got that at? I'm seeing assists at 6. I'm seeing rebounds 6.
If they don't have it, then I'll just take the higher on assists.
Okay, let's just do higher 6 assists. But so you don't want to do PRA, Scott? You just want to do you like the assists the best out of that market?
You mean par? No, I'll pass on the par. I'll take the A.
Whoa.
We got it. If anyone watches the ESPN bet show and they bring up par one more, is it? I gotta see. Do they list it as par in their sports book?
I had an interaction with the host, so I posted a picture of them giving out a par, as they refer to it, and I happened to capture the host in a moment where his face looked awkward. Someone else tagged him then and said, "Don't do him dirty like that." He then responds like, "Yeah, par, points, assists, rebounds," like spells it out for me, and I'm like, "All right, fuck, like this dude's really."
You guys aren't real. You guys aren't in the community,
Well, it's like-
man. You need us. You're not in the community. You're not in the community. Par.
I
This
just
isn't
don't
golf. Is this
Man.
golf? Where's Steve? Where's Steve at?
But that's the thing. Like, no one, like the producer, the person making the graph, like no one said, "Hey." I think everyone else calls it PRA.
I'm in the ESPN bet book, and it listed as points, rebounds, and assists. I thought maybe that was some like quirky ESPN bet thing, but no, I confirmed it's just their take on the game.
There's no way that the hosts on that show went through the Bodogs era of gambling.
No.
There was never a MoneyGram or a phone card.
He has never. I can tell you, this guy's never sent a cashier's check to South or Central America.
I'm sending 2,000 minutes to my grandmother in Belize.
He's never figured out how to transfer a phone card credit to someone else.
That was the best racket.
The phone cards,
buying phone cards and cell phone cards.
There was a lot of workarounds back in the day.
Oh shit.
Again, Scott showing for a young man. Scott is old soul in the sports game.
That was early.
I was more of a 5 dimes guy back in the day.
Yeah,
but I was using the MoneyGram at the local CVS. So yeah, I know all about it.
Imagine seeing a young Scott coming in and probably gets out of high school. He's like, all right, gonna go home, watch Stump the Schwab. I'm gonna send a couple MoneyGrams.
No, he was only collecting the MoneyGram.
Where's this money going to? Pagoda. Oh yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, of course. Yeah, no reason to ask any questions. It's fine.
Well, that's
all right. Here we go. I am
no questions. Terrell
tweeting PRA greater than par.
Par. Love it. If you know, you know.
Not over par.
No.
That's the joke. PRA under par.
Easy. Shout out to Easy in the chat pointing out that rebounds come before assists in the stat box. Yes. One more reason. Also, you just wouldn't call it something else that there's already.
It's clearly already a thing. Why would we confuse people further for no reason?
It's just
stupid. Well, this is where I would say, just let your eyes help you understand what's going on over
there. Terrell, what do we like? Give us a winner here. Winners only. Underdog Fantasy.
Okay. All right. So I have a 2xer higher.
Oh,
we're gonna go Daniel Gafford for a double-double. Higher.
Oh, wow.
Half a
Okay.
double-double higher. He's played, this will be his 5th game against Dallas this season. He had 1 game against them with Washington. He had 9-9. With Dallas, he's had 19-9, 19-15, 16-11 in those games. 16-11 was the recent one. He's been good, and that's the way that you attack this OKC team. You attack them on the boards, you dominate on the glass. He's a very capable big that's had success against them, so I think he'll get the rebounds. And then even with Luka in this ankle, they're going to go with the pick and roll, and it's going to be on Gafford more often than it's going to be on Luka, and he loves that pick and roll with him ever since he came over in the trade deadline. So I think that Luka's going to look for him in the pick and roll. He'll get his points, and he's going to dominate on the glass and get the rebounds. So this was at 2.25x when we started the show, and by the time we got to the segment, it was at 2. So
sharp.
It's already moving. Well, and also too, if you're a new, if you haven't signed up with Underdog Fantasy, what are you waiting for? Again, the play that we gave out, SGA higher 6 assists, Daniel Gafford higher a half double-double, $100 entry would bring you back 600. And if you're a new customer, they have a Jason Tatum special, higher lower a half point. So if you're new to Underdog, you sign up today, meaning Thursday, you would have access to that special Underdog Fantasy promo code SGPN.
That's a really low fantasy projection. That reminds me of the Aaron.
Don't bring up the Aaron Rodgers
half passing
yard debacle.
Oh, Boyd. He did drop back once and didn't get a half passing yard.
No,
so,
that was so technically he qualified. That was what they call bad beat.
You got to fire the marketing team. Someone needs a head needs to roll.
They have not led their promo calendar has not created any season-ending injuries since. So shout out to Underdog.
Let's probably protest them.
Friday we got the New York Knicks heading to Indiana. Knicks right now 6-point underdogs.
Oh, what?
Plus 195 on the money line. Interesting spread here. Looks like OG and Anunoby could be out for this game.
I think he's done for the series. For the record.
Yeah, it seems like he will be out if it's not officially there. Certainly would be soon. 6 points, a pretty big adjustment. I mean, obviously the Knicks were favored by 5 tonight here and got the win, got the cover. Pacers have done a decent job hanging around. 6 points is a lot. They do a ton of running. They're pretty good at home. How say you, Scott? What do you like in this Knicks Pacers game?
So I understand with OG being out that it might be appealing to take the Pacers. They're in a must-win spot, of course, down 2-0. I think Rick Carlisle's an idiot. I'll just start there. It's gonna merge into a rant for game 2.
Yeah, let's go.
I don't know what the hell Rick Carlisle's doing. Toppin and McConnell were 2 of your 3 best players last night, and you benched them for the final 8 minutes. Your bench has been great.
I had fucking hired TJ McConnell 10.5 points, and he got 10 points and 12 assists, and then they weren't playing him.
I don't know what Carlisle's doing. And then he blames it on being a small market team post game because of officiating. Yeah, I just think you're a bad coach. You won 0 playoff series after winning the title with Dallas until the Bucks series when Giannis was out. So for about 13 years, 12 years, you won 0 playoff series. Congratulations. At the end of the day, this team doesn't guard anybody. They're soft. They don't rebound the ball. And I do think at the end of the day, the rotations are a serious question mark because Carlisle seems very stubborn, where he's going to go with his starting guys, no matter how bad they've been playing, down the stretch of crunch time. And it's killed them in both games. I guess the one thing you can point to for Indiana, which is the positive, is that you had a chance to win both games. I don't trust Carlisle at all. I think he's a bad coach. I think his team doesn't guard anybody. Brunson missed an entire quarter of the game, and he still finished with about 30 points. So they can't guard him anyway. I'm going to go Knicks here. I understand if Indiana does win this game, it wouldn't totally shock me. But I just can't handle coaches that don't actually promote any defense whatsoever and have no fundamental understanding of making adjustments on the fly with their rotations. It drives me absolutely nuts. You can ride the hot hand. You don't have that many games to play with. McConnell and Toppin were phenomenal in the first 2 games of this series, and you let them rot on the bench while your team self-destructed. It's just stupid. I'll go with the Knicks here. I know with that Anunoby being out, they're going to have some problems trying to figure out who's going to replace him. Probably a Chua, who might have to play 30-plus minutes. They'll get a bit bigger. But still, I'm going to lean Knicks here. They're a tougher team. They're a better coach team. They're a great defensive team. But it feels like every time the Pacers get a key stop, They can't rebound the ball. Every time, I'll take the Knicks. They just want it more, in my opinion.
No, it's
I was watching with CJ and when last game when Toppin was he was electrifying the crowd. I mean, very curious game plan last time, and we were kind of shocked by the Carlisle playoff nugget when we were looking at when we were discussing, I believe before the playoff started that he really hadn't won a playoff game.
No.
And for being a quote unquote sharp coach, like a cerebral coach who's done a lot, he really hasn't. So yeah.
He has a ring. What is he, like Doc Rivers? Like, since he has a ring, he's allegedly a good coach. I think most people think Doc Rivers isn't that good. I'll put Carlisle in the same boat. It's a title, but you look at him and what he's done in series, and you're not that impressed on what he does in an actual game basis.
You're right, Scott. Carlisle probably doesn't get as much grief as he should. I mean, because he hasn't, the teams he hasn't been like these star-laden teams. But even with the guys he has, I think there could be a case that he's underperformed, especially in the playoffs. And they even got a Halliburton game. Like Halliburton finally, pulled his head out of his ass. I still don't know what's going on with him. I had like a confidence issue, I think, in game one. Played a decent game too. I think 6 is too much. I as much as I want the Pacers to win this series, and I think they probably get this win, especially if you're getting the full 6 here. Feel free to clip that. I think this is a good spot for the Knicks here. Terrell, how say you? What do you like, Knicks Pacers?
Okay, this is hard because I do agree
on his answer. Read in between the lines on his answer. Just a warning.
I do agree with both of your points. I think you both have great points here.
Yes.
However, I have an agenda, and so I need to make the case for why the Pacers are going to cover here -6. And the case is the Knicks are a completely different team when OG Anunoby is not in the lineup. And because they now are without OG Anunoby, they are now without Mitchell Robinson, who 2 of their best defenders. You have no Bojan to help with the scoring. Even though Bojan is not a good defender, he helps with the scoring. He's out for the season as well. So you are now replacing that production with Precious Achiuwa. And more than likely, I know Alec Burks is going to make an appearance in this playoff series, and then he's going to self-destruct the Knicks in the playoff series. So Anunoby, the reason that you brought him over, he's a 3-and-D guy that's shooting damn near 40% from 3 this year. You're getting a 26% from 3 shooter in Achiuwa that is now replacing him. That's really, really going to hurt the Knicks offensively. It's really, really going to hurt the Knicks defensively. We'll see how Brunson is feeling, because I know they doped him up at halftime so for him to get through this game. So hopefully they dope him up again, because if they don't, it's going to be rough.
It does seem like this the foot's been on the pedal all the way down, and they're still in second gear, and they've just been driving for 2,000 miles.
I mean,
it's working. Everything's still attached, kind of, but does seem like the end is near. It does seem like the narrative is going to be, wow, look at how easy the Celtics' path to the championship was. They got banged up this team. They got this team. The Heat shouldn't have been in the play. It just seems.
Well,
like,
and
then they blow it.
Yeah, and then they blow it against.
I mean, to the Knicks' credit, they finished both games strong. Indiana probably could have snuck out that game 1, but then DiVincenzo did get banged up here a little bit in game 2. Brunson got banged up a little bit.
Dogs,
they seem okay.
They're dogs. And honestly, the tickets will be pretty cheap compared to the prices at Garden. Do we think there'll be a bunch of Knicks fans invading beautiful Indiana?
Certainly.
I actually have gotten a request that if I'm available for game 4, all I have to do is get there and my ticket is available. So there's going to be an influx of Knicks fans in Indiana. I'm going to let you know now.
That's great. Well,
it's actually cheaper for Knicks fans to fly to Indiana, buy a ticket to the game, get a hotel, and actually go to the game than it is for them to pay for a Madison Square Garden home game.
No, I was gonna say I was gonna say that exact same thing. Like, I bet you it ends up being cheaper.
They're gonna be digging holes in cornfields. Watch out! Keep your head on a swivel.
All right, Ryan. Any thoughts here? I assume you're just gonna ride your Knicks.
The roster is getting thin. Right, that's
a little banged up.
Seems
that's
like
just how Tibbs likes it, though. He doesn't use the bench
like
anyway.
His hair.
So
he likes his hair like he likes his roster thin.
I will say,
or his bench.
His hairline is special. And the fact that he's leaned into it.
There's a couple. It
It's a
reminds me of
target.
that.
It's a meteor spot. It's like that spot in Arizona where we got a big crater in the
It
earth.
reminds me of that Seinfeld where Elaine's pulling on George's hair. She's like, "You got a couple scraps hanging on for dear life."
Those aren't scraps. that's like that's a.
It reminds me of like back in the day where I used to get haircuts at a barber, and like the hair fell on the floor. It's like a little bit of that just sprinkled on top.
Yeah, it's like yeah, it's hard to even
Just
describe.
shave your head.
What
Shave your head.
What the
You'll look fine.
well, there is an element where he just doesn't have time to get a haircut.
He's too busy
so
pumping his own gas. He can't get haircuts. Come on, he's busy.
respect.
He is a character. He's hard not to like. If the Knicks fans weren't so annoying,
Yeah.
I could maybe see myself.
Well, that's the best part. Everyone's going to root for this Knicks team against the Celtics.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's what I'll
Not
have
saying
to
the
root for.
series is over, but after Game 3, we'll probably be discussing how it's near over.
Ryan, are you taking him on the money line?
Of course.
Okay.
I think they realize how banged up they are. They'll, put whatever needles they need to get through the couple games so they can have a bit of rest. I think that becomes more critical, right? If they can take care of business in one of these games, and even if they take care of business in this game, they get a couple days up. Maybe they punt Game 4, couple days off. They come home, they take care of business. They'll get a little bit of rest before the next series. Seems to make sense. I'm sure Tibbs is a strategic guy, so he'll probably figure that out. But yeah, why would I bet? Fuck the Pacers. The Pacers are random. As a child of the 80s and 90s in New York, the Pacers are randomly in the top 5 for teams I hate the most. Like for me, I know a lot of Knicks fans hate the Heat, but Heat are number 2 to the Pacers to me. To me, it was always about beating the Pacers. Reggie Miller was a piece of shit. Finding out
and he's broadcasting your games now.
Well, and
they're saying "fuck you, Reggie." Josh Hart went up and told him.
Reggie Miller is never safe in the Garden. And yeah, if you ever met Reggie Miller in person, you would. It kind of. I don't have as much rage about the situation after just knowing the kind of person Reggie is. But
I when I was working at Mailboxes Etc. in Malibu, California,
flex.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
Pulling down a solid $9 an hour.
Yeah.
Wow. He was, and a lot of celebrities came in. He was one of them. I remember he bought some packing tape. And yeah, certainly I would not describe him as an intimidating gentleman. Nice guy and seemed to enjoy his tape. So
you think Cheryl's more intimidating than Reggie? Just
100%.
I mean, honestly,
Absolutely.
Cheryl does seem like, if I had to award a dog trophy to the Miller family basketball, it would not be going to Reggie.
I don't think Reggie would argue. That's how you know. He got his ass beat by Cheryl as a kid.
Yeah.
So
she's got some dog.
I mean, and you can tell how they grew up. I mean, no disrespect.
No disrespect.
Fuck you.
This show is not disrespectful at all. All right.
I am willing.
Yes.
I am willing because I was getting plus money on the money line with the Pacers when I was taking the Pacers money line and spread for these first 2 games. I am willing to take Pacers -6 and Pacers 11 plus win margin on the juice because I am very committed to my cause.
Let's go. I put a random bet in on the Pacers at 75-1 to win the title one night at Circo, where I was like, had a little bit of money and I was like, does this either go in the slot machine or on a long shot future?
Should have gone the slot machine.
How's the slot?
Probably.
I thought you went on like a hot craps run and you decided that, it was time to spend some of the winnings on the Pacers,
Yes.
But
Man.
I do want to ask
spend your
though,
winnings.
just quickly on the game. I know it's 6.5 and the Knicks are injured. Do you really want to lay 2 possessions of the team that doesn't guard anybody? Like, I'll take Knicks team total over blindly. This team can't guard anybody. Like, it's really embarrassing. I understand that they were able to win with this level of, I'd say, execution offensively and even defensively in this case, in the first round and everything. But you're in the conference semifinals. Can you at least pretend to guard somebody? It's painful to watch. They can't guard anyone.
I like this.
I
Scott,
don't know what the counter is.
Bigger rivalry: Terrell versus the Celtics, or Scott versus Rick Carlisle.
Well, it's Scott versus Carlisle. I saw Easy joking around about a diss track. Their kids are calling it the next Kendrick Lamar versus Drake.
You can't just say "fuck you." You got to sing a song about it. The world is really strange.
Oh, it's rap beef. Scott,
I'll curse him out again tomorrow on the NBA show. I'm already
If the
I'm gonna pull out
Celtics-
the stats and
great tease.
but-
Scott, please do it while you have like a rap beat going. You don't have to rhyme it. Just spit some fire bars shitting.
I got to
Rick
work on my
Carlisle.
flow, so I'll have to get back to you on that one. But
I will tell you right now, if the New York Knicks beat the Boston Celtics in a series to go to the finals, I will make a Boston Celtics diss over Not Like Us immediately.
Yes.
Immediately. There is no better. Oh my gosh. I
can't wait to hear
that is
it.
my wet dream. I
Yes,
just don't
sir.
know.
I'll write some
the New York
poetry
Knicks
about it.
beating the Boston Celtics in this Eastern Conference Finals is just I couldn't believe it. I would be so happy.
It would be a fun fate for Boston fans to have to suffer through, Sean. They're nice people, you know, and they've had it so hard.
Oh yes. No,
So
they're still trying to regroup from the Brady
Drake
roast.
Drake May might go to one of those games, so keep an eye out.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Last game of our slate Friday night. Denver Nuggets 4.5 point dogs against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Wow, I really thought Denver was going to bounce back in game 2, but man, incredible performance by Minnesota's defense, who's looked amazing. You got Ant, you got Cat. Like they're playing really well. They're coached really well, and Nuggets seem out of sorts. I mean, I in this kind of couple year run here, the Nuggets have. I can't recall them ever looking this frustrated. You got Jamal Murray chucking heat packs.
Oh, it's weird. It's no place in the game for this type of bet.
I mean, I obviously don't give a shit, but it's certainly a horrible sign that a guy like Jamal Murray is like tantruming. It's like, dude, you're a child. If you're really that frustrated, get in and get chippy. Don't throw a heat pack. Like, what are you gonna toss a drink at a guy? Like, it just
kind of soft, right?
Come on. I mean, what happened to hard fouls or box it out to get your frustrations? I honestly don't know what to do. I mean, it feels like the play might be, and this is weird too, because the Nuggets were an awesome team in the first quarter in the regular season, especially at home. Joker usually plays the entire first quarter. They've been bad in the first quarter. I mean, I don't know if the Lakers. I think the Lakers won every first quarter. I know the Timberwolves have won,
Except game 5. The Nuggets led game 5 in the first quarter, lost the half, I think.
Yeah. They've gotten off to rough starts, which is weird because regular season they were doing a really good job. Maybe this is the time when they straighten the ship out and they come guns blazing and get that first quarter. I imagine you're gonna see Joker pretty motivated. This team is the champs. They said it was like the craziest since like something like 1972 or something, or it was like a long time that a defending champ lost that much at home in a playoff game. This one's tough because how can you take the Nuggets because they've looked so bad in this series, but at some point, do they right the ship? Scott, we'll start with you. Nuggets catching 4.5 on Friday. What's the play here?
I feel like this game's going to go one of two ways. Either Denver finds a way to win a very close game down the stretch, or Minnesota beats them by 20. There's like no middle ground as far as I'm concerned. Denver's been one of the best closing teams in the entire league for 2+ years at this point. Jamal Murray's injured. We know this. He's been inefficient. With the exception of the fourth quarters against the Lakers, he's been a mess for the playoffs. And you're looking at Aaron Gordon, who we know is more of a rim runner. He had a decent first quarter, though, in the last game. But Porter Jr. has been underwhelming, too, recently. Not to mention the shot selection and the bad decision-making. They don't really have many quality bench options, if any. In fact, they have 0 bench options. And Reggie Jackson got injured, too. Do I like Reggie Jackson? No, I think he's a bad player. But the point is they don't have a backup point guard. So if you're talking about Murray being injured, now they don't even have a backup guard to help, spell him some minutes. What do you use? Christian Brown as your backup point guard now? Like, I don't know what you're supposed to do. You just don't have many bodies. So Minnesota, I think, has the team makeup to beat this team comfortably for the third straight game. I think they can win this game by 15+ if they play anywhere near as well as they played defensively in game 2. The question is, do I think Denver, with the now 3-time MVP, are going to roll over and die? And I feel like most people are expecting no, but on the other hand, there's kind of just a lack of actual quality depth on this team. So people might expect Denver to struggle, especially in Minnesota. I was joking before the Twins might be playing, but I think we all know that's going to be a sellout. And apparently I had a friend of mine in the actual arena, in Ball Arena, and a decent amount of Timberwolves fans made the trip. So apparently they're actually having some solid fan actual amounts.
There was some like MVP chants. I think
they like their teams, and but worth noting there is not a horse race this weekend for him to be distracted by and then hung over because of. I assume that's why he didn't.
So
play.
Scott, what do we? It feels like we got to take Minnesota laying the number, right?
I think I'm going to, but to be honest, I wouldn't try this at home. Do I consider taking Denver 1-10 and Minnesota minus 14.5? You go for some insane play. Now the Polish middle is alive and well in the scenario because there's a lot of room to get your ass kicked. But I really see it going. I see it going one of those two ways because Denver, we've seen outplay a bunch of teams in the fourth quarter. Yeah. Maybe not in this series, but in general, all season long. Denver, if it's close, I'll pick them to win because I think Joker and company will make enough big plays down the stretch to invent ways to win games they probably should not win. But Minnesota has the team makeup and the overall health right now to kick this team's ass again and to maybe even sweep. So my hot take, I guess, is going to be Denver 1-10 and Minnesota minus 12.5. We'll go with that as my two plays there. I think one of those two happen.
Ryan, if we get canceled for Scott using the term Polish middle, that would be all time.
Is that
not the correct term? That's what I know.
Is that what Shea Gildress Alexander? That's what he referred to his outfit as, the Polish middle.
Polish middle. Okay.
So now
is there another term that I could use instead? Because I've always known.
I don't know. I assume it's kind of insulting to Polacks, but
I will say
always fun.
It is 100% like the official term for this type of middle.
I've never heard of anything else.
But it's fascinating to me the parts of society that we've decided to not get obscenely offended by, like the Italian stuff with Tommy DeVito. Polish people still getting run through the fucking road grader.
But
no one cares about the Polacks. They're still dumb as fuck. You can say it on the open airwaves. No one's gonna come after you. So yeah, Polish
I thought it was
middle.
called the Polish middle because once you lose both bets, you just down an entire bottle of vodka. I thought that was kind of the point.
Which, by the way, best vodka, potato vodka. That's Polish.
There you go.
Shout out to the
We're
Polacks.
learning a lot about the Polish community. Shout out to pierogies.
Love pierogi. Love pierogies.
Delicious. I'm thinking about pierogies right now.
Love them.
Terrell, what are we doing here? Nuggets getting 4.5. I kind of want to take the Nuggets and the points to Scott's point of just like, I don't know if they can pull out the outright win, although his Denver, what was it? 1 to 10.
I'm quickly shopping around to find the best number available for both.
What's that price? Maybe that's it, but
pulling out.
I don't know. It does feel like this game's going to come down to the wire. Like if Minnesota gets a sweep, I don't think game 3 is going to be an easy part of it. So Terrell, how do you see this game going?
So give me the Polish middle. I want the Polish middle.
Okay.
That's how I had it. And so now I'm sitting here trying to be silent because like, wow, I really forecasted this game to go exactly the opposite of how we said. But that's how I think. I think that Denver is the defending champions. I think that they have the MVP, the best player on the planet right now. And the issue with that is that they're not going to give up. But when you get to that fourth quarter, when you get to the end, this defense for the Minnesota Timberwolves is smothering. I think that they're too good. And when we're talking about clutch time and we're talking about who's going to go out there and get a bucket, I think the defense for Minnesota is going to step up. And I think that I have Anthony Edwards, who I feel comfortable with taking the last shot. And then I have a cat with confidence. If I have a cat with confidence, he's great. He's amazing. The only issue with Cat is because he didn't have confidence. He was soft and he didn't believe in himself. But Anthony Edwards has transformed Cat into you can see it even in the press conferences when he speaks. He's a different version of himself that is so confident in his play. And he's showing it by getting over his 19.5 points prop in both games thus far. He likes this matchup. He feels comfortable playing this team. He feels comfortable going up and getting to his spot and getting a shot. So I think that Denver's going to come out fast. I think Denver's going to overwhelm Minnesota at first, but then Minnesota's going to settle into this game. They realize that this is a letdown spot for them. They're going to play defense, and they're going to make this a close one in the end. If you told me that this was Denver plus 4.5 and Minnesota money line, I would not be surprised by that. So I'll just take the Polish middle and take Minnesota 1-10.
Yeah, by the way, I found
Wow.
the prices.
Wow.
Denver 1-10 is plus 260. Minnesota minus 11.5 is plus 245. So maybe give me a half unit on both. I spent the units on worse things before. Also, Terrell, if you want the 1-10, that's plus 220 for the Timberwolves.
I like these. I like these. I like the 1-10 alt line that Scott's been introducing me to. I'd never really dabbled in that market prior.
Oh, God damn it. Anthony Edwards was raised solely by his mother. Come on. I don't have time.
It's
for
another
this.
one. It's another one. It's another one.
I don't have time for this.
He
It's
can really
sweet.
put all of this to rest by just taking a freaking paternity test. Just take the paternity test, Jordan. Just take the paternity test.
Is this
The funny
true
thing is that he claimed that he was not stop talking about Jordan, it's disrespectful, and everyone's like, that's exactly what Jordan would say in the situation. Like it made it even worse.
You're literally acting like your dad. Come on.
Does he also? Is it true that he has a stepbrother that's a NASCAR driver, truck driver?
Well, did you know Jordan is involved? He owns a piece of a NASCAR team.
Interesting.
Does he have a son that's dating Larsa Pippen? Is that on the cards?
This is too much. All right, let's add to the conspiracy.
There's a lot going on in Michael Jordan's life.
Unrelated to Michael Jordan, but related to gambling, the kind the Joker likes. On the ponies, the local track in Minnesota, Canterbury Park, which is the best horse racing in Minnesota, says their website. Well, their opening weekend is not this weekend, but next.
Oh, he's going to be distracted.
Oh, there he goes.
No, he's not.
No, he
gonna
won't
be
be distracted because the
okay.
horses
But
are not running.
if they get knocked out in Game 6 in Minnesota on Thursday, May 16th, well, hell, maybe he sticks around for a night and goes to opening day down at Canterbury Park to watch the ponies that we know he loves. I'm very torn here. A sweep would be very fucking hilarious, because a lot of people were talking highly, including myself, about the Denver Nuggets, and Minnesota, who spurned me before, is just hotter than hot. How do you go against them right now? Give me Minnesota. I like the one side of the Polish middle. I don't need the other side of a Polish middle.
We know
you put too many Polish people together. Nothing good's coming out of that.
this guy know who he likes laying big money line favorites and thinks there's like some system to it. He did take.
Well, you're on the side of the book, right?
He did take Denver Nuggets plus 3.5 games for the series at minus 4,000.
Oh no!
He put 10K on it. He has
Is
got
that the tennis guy that you messaged me about?
Same
Okay.
guy. Yeah, he just loves laying massive favorites. It's his form of investing.
Oh, it's investment. Hey, where else are you gonna get this kind of ROI, Sean?
I have a
3
story
hours?
about taking. I have a story about taking big juice. I don't know if we have the time. Do I have time to share a quick story?
We got the time.
Sure.
All right, so I was in college. I think I was in my either freshman or junior year. I was on 5 dimes at the time. I was in Wisconsin, so there was no legal actual sports betting, so I was doing it through MoneyGram with 5 dimes. They had a betting contest. So in other words, if you got 5 days right on their picks, you got $50 in free play. The caveat was you had to enter $50 of actual money to qualify for the winnings. So you'd automatically take some minus 5,000 favorite, win the money, and then you'd be eligible for the actual prize. I took the Lightning. The year that they won, they set the record for most points in a regular season, I think, or they had the most wins of all time. I took them plus 3.5 games against the Blue Jackets in the first round at about minus 8,000. They got swept. They got swept in the series. They had not that. I believe a President's Trophy winner had never gotten swept ever in the playoffs. And they lost all 4 games to Columbus. It was the first playoff series Columbus ever won. Minus 8,000. And I said, never again. That was the end of my big juice chasing.
Wait, hold on. But did you beat the closing line? Because that's all that really
apparently
matters.
no, because I know Tampa blew a 3-0 lead in game 1, and they weren't close after that. So no, I just got my ass kicked. That's kind of what happened.
Yeah, Fezzik said it should be minus 9,000. So that was a good play, Scott. Don't worry about it.
Play.
I mean, at some point you also have to like enjoy watching it, and I don't know, like Oh man, maybe we can get him on the show, right? Although I'm sure he wouldn't want to talk about it if the Nuggets get swept.
Wait,
Oh,
who?
man.
You about Fezzik?
No. I was
Oh.
saying, I was just joking because Physical sometimes like throw out those like minus 3,000
Yeah,
plays.
just
in
don't
college
mention
basketball.
Purdue to him. Just don't mention
Yeah,
Purdue.
well,
It's a sensitive
yeah.
topic.
Oh, he would make that bet 10 times out of 10. There
I guess
good
if you-
value there.
I guess if you have the bankroll and the math, yada yada, but also you gotta watch it. It's like that. Where's the entertainment value in? To me, you're just you gotta watch this entire series, and you're just rooting for that one Nuggets win. Like, oh man, and also now
It's a
now
lot.
you're down 2-0. You have no outs. You have no ways to like bet against that or hedge out of it. Or I don't, it is not how I like to bet, Brian.
Yeah, you don't like massively thick business cards and murdering women either. So
Whoa, what's that?
I'm just saying, people that bet heavy favorites are serial killers.
I thought they just jump off
because
a
you don't
bridge when
have
they lose.
emotion. You're
I don't
not
know the
getting
serial
You're
You're
soulless. You're right.
Well, Parlay Pats did offer to beat some people up because they messed up his heavily favorite parlay.
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
That's why he's in jail. That's why he's in jail.
All right. We got a lock and a dog coming up. Before we do that, shout out to Royal Retros. Looking for a way to prove that you know ball. What better way to showcase your old school fandom than with some old school gear from a classic team? Royal Retros has jerseys, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, and more from vintage sports leagues that make that you know and love. They got the Dirty Bird, Ryan. They got Orange Crush. Again, just hit like other leagues. There's a ton of fun stuff here. There's like old school minor league hockey. There's some like random AFL teams. Just and really some like cool designs too. So make sure you check them out. RoyalRetros.com, promo code SGPN. Get you 10% off. RoyalRetros.com. The Orange Crush jersey alone is worth a look. Head over there, check them out. All right, time to close things out with a lock and a dog. Scott, you are the top square here on our YouTube layout. What do you got? What's a lock and a dog for this?
Sure are.
Sure. For this block, I'm going to go with the Knicks team total over in this game. I'm going to dare Indiana to stop somebody because I don't think they can.
Yeah.
So I know that they look good defensively in the final game against Milwaukee. I'm not sure if that was good defense or the Bucks just bricked every shot in that game. But the point is, Indiana has been a mess defensively the entire series. They can't rebound the ball. They foul all the time. There's a lot of ways to get there. Brunson missed a quarter, and the Knicks still scored 130 points. Once again, he missed one quarter. They still scored 130.
Yeah.
So
insane.
if I'm looking for a team total in the spot for the Knicks, do I think they get to 120? Maybe not. But I do think at the end of the day, if I'm picking them to hang in there to potentially win this game, a big reason for that is the Indiana's inability to actually stop anybody. And I do think Indiana, based on how the first two games have gone, they want to play fast. They've been competitive in these games going super up tempo. The total's around 225.5. So if you're looking at the potential total for the Knicks, that's around 114.5, give or take. Maybe a little bit less than that, but 113.5, 114.5. Sure. Give me the team total over for the Knicks. I'll dare Indiana to show any resemblance of defense. I don't think they can.
Fair enough.
Well,
I thought you were going to jump in there, Ryan.
Well, I was going to pile on by you. You can just, I mean, the fuck the Pacers specials, just Knicks money line. Knicks money line happily. I mean, I was debating.
So you got Knicks money line as your
debating if
dog.
I make that as a lock.
That's a bold play.
Because it's smaller than my other play, which is OKC minus 11 plus 220.
Ooh, okay.
Which one would you make the lock, and which one would you make the dog?
You know what? I'm gonna co-sign your dog. I like Oklahoma City minus 11 plus 220. I'm gonna make that my dog.
It's a good dog.
And for my lock, give me Boston first half. I mean, I really like minus 8.5. I don't know. I'll do Boston first half team total over 58.5 for my lock, and then the dog. I'm gonna co-sign the OKC minus 11 plus 220. I think Mavs could pack it in, and then especially if Luka's dealing with that knee ankle thing, I could see them wanting to get some rest late if it's flaring up. So that's what I got for my lock. Boston's just a machine in the first half. They're gonna come out swinging again. and I think they're going to put up a ton of points against this Cavs defense early, often. Terrell, what do you like? Lock and a dog?
Lock OKC -5. I think this is the better team. I think Luka's compromised. There's not enough options on the Mavericks. In turn, a little bit of reverse correlation. Give me Daniel Gafford double at +320.
Yes.
He's had 2 straight doubles against this team. 2 games before that, he had 9 rebounds. He's been close in the first 2, and then the 2 recently, he's gotten the double. +320 just feels like an insane price for somebody who's clearly shown they've done it, and they just did it in the series the game before. I'll take them to do it again.
By the way, I realize I also forgot to give out a dog, so I'll take the Thunder minus
sorry.
9.5 at +164.
Ooh, okay.
So the plot thickens here. Michael Jordan owns a NASCAR team where Bubba Wallace drives. He's really tight with Raji Caruth, who is Anthony Edwards' half brother. Caruth's dad is a professor at Howard.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Ray Caruth. That would have been a crazy term.
But like this guy's out there, and no one's like, hey, this is like clearly Anthony Edwards' dad. No, they're still saying it's Michael Jordan, who, by the way, is buddies or owns a team where the driver's tight with the half brother of Anthony Edwards.
So just to ask, do you have like a full poster board with the strings to attach all the people together for this one?
Yeah, we need like a Charlie from Always Sunny.
Yeah.
I would say that the second you start to look into Michael Jordan, there's just more questions than answers.
So a follow-up question: are you selling your Jimmy Butler Michael Jordan stock and buying Michael Jordan stock, or do they both exist?
They're different phases of his career.
Okay, I'm just asking. Cool. All right.
They both do appear to have a certain dog blood type that we don't see often in the NBA. I mean, especially in today's NBA, for Anthony, for this to be happening, and for people to just casually notice that he looks a lot. Which, by the way, the side-by-side pictures are very. I mean, I feel like
make him look.
I feel like it's
trying to say you.
Well, no, but you ever see those pictures where people are like, "Oh, look, this married couple looks like each other too." It's like it's an optical illusion thing. It's very silly. Although I will continue to repost them. Yeah, I don't know. The Jimmy Butler, they have a dog in him. Where does the dog gene come from? Not having Michael Jordan as their father. How did Michael Jordan's actual son or sons turn out to be so bad at basketball?
Yeah, the ones that are officially his are the worst ones at basketball. I'm sure this is
I've heard that his son gives buckets.
Really?
I've heard his son has given buckets in the gym to some. They've said that he's not a guy you want to just get in the open gym with.
I was gonna say, I think he means based in college. Jordan's kids didn't really do anything in college.
That's what I mean. They you know, I don't know. It's just a very fascinating story. Michael Jordan, he's done a lot of things that make you wonder. That's all I'm saying.
It's just it's just a hobby.
His kids were great.
Do your own homework. Do your own research.
I thought Jimmy Butler was great at Marquette, by the way.
I will say this: the key to perpetuate for spreading any sort of false information is just at the very end, just say, do your own research. Because that most people will be like, oh, all right, he's bluffing. All right, or I'm not going to check him. He told me to go check him. I mean, that means he's pretty confident. He's probably right. So just every time you're saying, just finish with, hey, if you want to do your own research.
Okay, so why do you have a tinfoil thing right by you? How does that happen?
He's got the tinfoil hat.
But why do you have that near your recording setup? Like, what had that happen?
You guys, I've been on this show since 2020. Yeah. I have props ready at any given time, anytime.
I've said too much.
Kramer, you said everything except your official lock and dog.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Knicks lock plus 200. Dog OKC -11 plus 220. Sorry, some of us like to go big.
Easy enough. Yes, I'm with you on the OKC -11. What could go wrong? Big thanks to the guys from the NBA Gambling Podcast. Also, Terrell, make sure to check him out, hosting the WNBA Gambling Podcast. Check out Scott on the MLB Gambling Podcast as well. Tennis Gambling Podcast. MLB Gambling Podcast, our featured show this week here on the network. If you're looking to get down on some daily baseball action. And again, if you're working a day job and you got access to a screen, it'll get a little sweat going. I'm thinking,
Not me.
for years and years, I slaved away at some like really bad jobs, listening to games while you're at work. It's always fun. You just, put a couple bucks on it. Check out the guys on the MLB Gambling Podcast, do a great show. And of course, the NBA Gambling Podcast. Subscribe, smash that button, give him a follow on the old X at Reichel Radio for Scott. And of course, at Terrell Furman, no, at really rel double underscore.
I knew it. I knew he was gonna mess it up.
I had to look it up again.
Knew he was gonna mess it up.
Really rel.
He was double checking that underscore. Remember, my underscore is longer than CJ's.
Wait, so you got to hold the shift button? Caps lock.
You can find him if you put in Terrell Furman, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Maybe not. He's pretty anonymous out there on the internet.
Look out.
Which makes you wonder. More questions than answers.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green. He's Ryan.
Just took a 2-year break in the middle of his Hall of Fame career.
Kramer, let it ride.